So what will happen is up on the roof, this board will be on, this one will slide up and fit on it, and there'll be where water runs like this because the whole roof's at a tilt. And then the next board will slide over it. Having a solid edge, a lap, and gravity will keep us dry from that point.
Well, I have to tell you, when you told me your idea, in secret behind your back, I was shaking my head.
But yeah, it'll work. You just gotta have faith. Evidently, you didn't. We're down here on the Rabbit Barn project. We're gonna run tests today. See how this works. Let her rip, Junior. That's going off the back. Screw hole. Board to it.
Huh.
Well, better plans than mice and men. It's raining inside and out.
Is this when I shake my head again?
Yeah, this time not behind my back. We got wet. It's going everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
I've got wet rabbits and I've got wet feed right here.
You got wet everything. Well, I'd hazard to say that this is not working very well.
Well, Daddy J and Junior has the roof lowered. They lowered it probably a good 6 to 8 inches here. They're still gonna come back and use the chainsaw to cut off the excess post again. At least this time I know what they're doing. They left to pick up another truckload of lumber from the sawmill. So while they're gone, I'm going to work on the permanent wall. Threw one up temporarily yesterday. But today I'm going to actually put in the real wall and frame in a window, and while they're gone I'm going to work on that. So, let's get started. Get to play with the new chop saw. Yeah! I need to measure my bottom board outside of this post to the center of that post. I'm pretty sure it's 107.5 inches, but we're going to double check it before I make any cuts. $107.5 is what I needed. So, let's get me a 2x4 and get to her. $107. Handy dandy speed square. so much better than a skill saw. That is just awesome. I'm going to use Daddy Jay's little helpful hint from yesterday and put in a screw to help hold my 2x4 for me. There we go. Now, I'll hold that for me. Fabulous. Oh, that's so much easier. Find my level and get this leveled up. Start my screw. What we're going to do is put in removable windows behind the cages. Same concept as the rabbit hutches. In the wintertime we put the backs on, and in summertime we take half the backs off. That way they have airflow to stay cool, but they still have just a little corner that they can get into. Just in case the sun's shining on them or whatever. From this side, sun's not going to shine in on them. But from the other side, morning sun will shine on them. So they want to make sure they have a little corner that they can get into the shade and not sit in the sun. Wintertime, we'll have a cover for the window and it'll go up. So, I know this wall is only getting one unit of cages, the ones you saw last night, and they are 48 inches long. So I want to put in a 24-inch window that will center between the two cages. So I need to frame that in. Got to figure out where it's going to go. We know the top of the cages is going here, and the bottom of the cage will be right about here. It's 18 inches below this, so right about here. So I need to put in a board here and a board through there to frame in my window. Let's get to it. Figure out where that window is going to be. Alright, so we know that the end of the cage will go here and it goes here. So we want our window to go right about in this neighborhood. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put in the other 2x4. And again, should be 107.5 inches. But we're going to check and make sure. Yep, 107.5. So I'm going to do that board the same way. I'm going to go ahead and cut it, and then I'm going to put a screw to hold it, put it in place, level it up, 2 boards in. And we know the end of the cage stops right about here. So I'm going to measure in 1 foot from that point. Oh, wrong board. And then I want the window 24 inches. So I'm going to make my other mark 24 inches off my first mark. And that should leave me at least a foot between this point and the beginning of the cage. And it's going to be about 11.5 inches. That's close enough because these screws probably aren't exactly 48 inches apart. No, inches are only 47.5. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with that measurement. That way we have 24-inch windows. That is 16 1/8. So if both of these are level, this one should be 16 1/8. Very good. I do not have a level small enough to go in this hole. So I'm going to have to use my speed square and hope that it's true. That right there looks perfect. Now I'll just finish screwing this in and do the other one.
I know that, but like how would they do that when the roof's already on? Or do they put...
Alright, so I got my window framed in and it actually turned out pretty good. So what I'm going to start doing is cutting my siding planks, and from the top of the upper board to the bottom of the lower board is 41 1/4 inches. So I'm going to start cutting planks and stack them up and then come back and start screwing them in. And then for the window, I'll have to take measurements for those to get those planks cut. Anyway, let's start cutting planks. Alright, so we got few planks cut to size. Let's see how far we get with them. Oh. I'm going to start my screws first. That way I'm not sitting there trying to hold it up forever. Alright. Let's get our first board up. Well, that's interesting. On that level. You know, we have a tool belt around here somewhere, and sure would be handy to have right now. Yeah, board one. Probably only a couple hundred more to go. So, after lowering the roof and doing the water test again, it still leaks. So, we are taking it off and going to start all over again.
Thanks, Rooster. Big Daddy J here. Well, better plans than mice and men. Had this great idea for a lap siding roof. Always seemed like it should work. And we tried different laps, different widths. I didn't actually get to try the widest width for the lip over the next board. I outworked my saw. That's what happens when you try to use an all-in-one tool to do more than probably what it should be. What was happening to us on the lap, the main runoff would go on down and go off the roof, but when it got down to very little water and slowed down, it would actually fall over the lip and curve back in, kind of like with your gutter guards and things like that suck the water back under that lip, and then it would allow to go in there. So either had to go through and seam or seal each one of those seams, and on an 18 by 36 barn, well, that's a lot of seams, and that's something that have to be done once a year, once every couple of years. So there was a lot of maintenance involved. So back to more traditional roofing style. It kind of slows us down a little bit, but we'll take a look at what we have. One square of shingles on hand here at the house. So we actually got that put on for her new rabbits that she's got just at the last show. Kind of got before us before we got the barn done. We got extra rabbits. She's good about that. And then her wall. Good grief, look at that. That makes me look like a poor carpenter. She was even color coding that sucker. She was looking at it going tan, brown, gray, red. No two widths too close together. No two colors too close together. So, if she wants to, she can put out a pretty good masterpiece of her own, I'll tell you that. We can back that up so you can see more. Whoop, the other way, boy. I'm no master camera operator, but sure. But that's where we're at. Can't actually say that my idea worked. It really had some trouble. I think it could have had we got that lap long enough. Or had we been committed to using sealant every year, but we got a lot going on the farm, and that's just one more thing that has to be done. If I can go the other way and save time for working with the animals or working in the garden, I'd rather do that. But I guess she was right. Remember earlier in the videos, she just shook her head quietly behind my back? Well, I won't admit defeat, but I admit there was a lot of troubles in that line of thought. Not sure that I'd recommend it to anybody. I ain't got all the bugs worked out of it. But somebody's got some ideas out there other than sealant. Maybe I needed to increase the lap, which I'm sure it did, but I think it would work still. We ended up actually lowering the roof edge to increase the pitch. Done that 2 times. Trying to get the water to come on off, and I finally realized it wasn't the main runoff that we were getting, it was the after effects. So, well, I hope you learned something. I sure did. I had a great idea, at least I felt it was, but she didn't quite pan out in the end. Well, on to more work and get the rest of the barn done. Maybe not today. I'm seeing some weeds in the garden. I'm gonna get over there and surprise PJ and take some of them out. All right, God bless, be safe.